It's time for the Trauma Center New Blood review for the Wii. If you've watched my previous Trauma game reviews before, you'll probably know I enjoy this series. Trauma Team is still my favorite, but let's see if this one trumps it. The story starts out at a small hospital in Alaska, which the game describes it like an old man watching over the town. That's kind of creepy. Anyway, the story is focused around two surgeons, Dr. Vaughn and Dr. Blaylock. Throughout the game, you'll get the option to play as either one on each mission, and by mission, I mean each time you perform surgery on a patient. This was a nice feature, but I didn't notice any difference as far as gameplay goes when you picked either surgeon. Another new feature is now you can play co-op with a friend. They will play as the surgeon you didn't choose. This is a great addition because the game can be very demanding and seemingly almost impossible to complete if you don't have another player to help you out. There's a nice variety of surgeries to perform, such as replacing a pacemaker, helping a burn victim, and even removing defective organs. It feels like this game has more variety in types of surgeries than Trauma Center Second Opinion did, which I like. Sure, it's not Trauma Team, but it feels like there's more than Second Opinion. In the beginning of the game, you get the option to play through the tutorial, which is nice because not only is there quite a lot to do in each surgery, but performing each task in the correct order is vital to your success, as well as saving the patient, which I'm sure is the case in real surgeries. Remembering the order of operations, and I'm not talking about math, can be tricky, but fortunately the doctors and nurses tell you what you need to do next. This is bittersweet because although it greatly helps you, it can get quite annoying. Fortunately, you can skip the dialogue during missions, but be sure you know exactly what to do and when to do it, because you can't receive help on what to do next once you skip the assistance. The voice acting was great. It was nice that during cutscenes, the characters actually spoke the whole dialogue instead of just a few phrases like they did in Second Opinion. It helps the story come alive. The graphics and controls are just as good as they were in Second Opinion. Using both the Wiimote and Nunchuck to use surgical tools was easy, however I still don't understand how suturing works. I've read you have to quickly zigzag your way over a wound to close it up, and I feel like I'm doing just that, but I usually end up getting a bad or okay ranking. It's especially difficult if the wound is laying horizontal, because zigzagging the Wiimote up and down instead of left to right is much more difficult and would almost always give me a bad ranking. Everything else though, like using the defibrillator or the forceps, worked just fine. Like Second Opinion, it can be very difficult to receive anything higher than a final grade of C for each mission. Lizzie and I played on normal difficulty, and we could not get a grade higher than a C. You have to play fast, but super accurate with very little to no mistakes if you want a good score. It just seems ridiculous on how demanding the game is, especially when it's on the normal difficulty setting. One thing that can help you get a higher score is by using the Healing Touch. This is a special technique you can perform which allows your character to focus on a higher plane, and in turn allows them to perform tasks at a super high speed, which to us makes it look like time slows down. The Healing Touch only lasts a very short time, and you can only do it once per mission, so use it only when you need to. However, like I said earlier, this game can be very difficult, so much so that there were times when even using the Healing Touch wasn't enough. You really have to bring your A game if you want to succeed. This game doesn't seem as difficult as Second Opinion, but I think that may be due to the fact that Lizzie was playing with me for most of the time, which really dropped the difficulty level, but it's still nowhere near a pushover. Trauma Center New Blood is a good game, but only if you're prepared to be challenged on your skills, patience, and speed at the same time in every mission. Having a friend play co-op with you is very helpful and makes the game more enjoyable, but it's still very frustrating that it can be very difficult to get a ranking that's higher than a C. The story and voice acting are great, and it's very nice that the characters actually speak every sentence on screen instead of just a few phrases. I recommend this game to those who only want a great challenge. I think Lizzie and I got spoiled by playing Trauma Team first, seeing how that game is much less demanding and reasonable to get high rankings. However, pushing your limits, even in video games, can be a good thing. This game gets a 3.75 out of 5 with the title of Awesome. Oh yes, and Merry Christmas.